A man came in 1989, and he brought this Indian from Latin America, Romulo. And Romulo walks in with this beautiful smile, and he begins to talk about his people.
Amasu amajilla mayuya. That's the greeting in Inca language. The meaning is don't be a thief, don't be a liar, and don't be lazy. And the answer is same to you. And well,
telling me that there's 20 million Quechua people in the world, that the largest Indian tribe in the Americas is the Navajos. That's maybe 500,000 people. And the Quechuans are 20 million strong, speaking 28 different Quechua languages.
Let me tell you a little bit who I am. I am Inca descendant. I'm Quechua. Well, we speak Quechua. The Quechua is the language of Incas. In Peru, you find Quechuas in Peru, Ecuador, Bolivia, part of Colombia, the Inga tribe, but Incas, and also in part of Argentina. We are the largest tribe in South America, and I think in America, because we are almost 20 millions of Quechuas in Aymaras.
He talked about how he had translated the Word of God for his people, only to find, once they printed it, and he said, I found they couldn't read them. And he said, my own mother can't read the words that I have translated. She only speaks Quechua. She's illiterate. And so the words I want her to hear and read, she can't.
Somehow the Lord was putting in my heart someday to translate the Bible to Quechua. That was my dream. And the Lord answered. I went Bible school, and the Lord prepared me. I went back to my country, and He gave me that opportunity to translate. Now, this is the Quechua Bible. We have the whole Bible, and we see now how the Lord really is using.
And he talked about how the shining path was killing the pastors in the rural areas, that this Maoist terrorist group had arisen. And he talked about how in the village, the shining path would come in and they would say, listen, we want food. And you're up in one of these mountain villages where they're just living off of what they grow, the potatoes, the sheep. And when they would say, do you have food for us? The man or the husband would say, we can give you a small amount, but we don't have much. They shoot him. And then they looked at the other men. Do you have food for us? Yes. Take whatever you want. And so in this pincer, he began to share about how the pastors had been killed. His people were shepherdless. Romulo talked to me about his grandfather, who we have a picture of here, and how he wouldn't stop preaching, and how the shining path had come around him before church one day on their horses, surrounded him, knocked him down, told him to quit preaching the gospel, and he refused. And what they do there is when they torture you, they just cut off one finger at a time. Get you to deny your faith, but he would not deny. So then they scalped him, then they cut off his tongue, and then they finally ripped open his chest while he was still alive and took his heart from him.
My grandfather, he escaped for 3 times because the Lord told him to escape. But in this time was Sunday, he preached the last message. Monday came the guerrilla people and they killed him. They cut the neck, they cut out the tongue, the heart, and also they ate it. That was diabolic. They said, with this tongue you preach, now you preach. And they're teasing, and everything. Also they came back, the guerrilla people, and they burned all houses. Every house is in my village, And right now they don't have a house. They are living in caves. They are living under trees, escaping from cave to other cave. Because if they're living in that cave, if they know they can, they kill just the cave. And the last time they killed our pastor.
And Romulo forgave them for that and continued to preach the gospel. Over and over again, his life was threatened. During those coming years, we began to send the Bible on cassettes out to the mountain. One day, we received a call saying Romulo is dead. The images of him playing his flute in the back of my car, teaching my children Quechua songs, ran through my mind. This man who loved his family, who loved his people so much that he couldn't escape from them. He knew the condition of his people. He heard they were living in caves and in the fields at night for fear of the terrorists, that the women were widowed and the children orphaned. These were his family, his own village. And so he went. We learned later that he knew he was going to die. He knew it. He wouldn't let his wife and others come. But he could not stop himself. He had to see his people. He tried to sneak in, drove in to the mountain community, the valley where his village was. He found the women and the children sleeping in the caves, in the fields, because they were terrified of the terrorists who would often rocket the village, I think for fun, at night. He brought food, he brought clothes, he prayed for them, he cried with them, he comforted them, and then he left. And on the way back, the terrorists set up a roadblock. And in that roadblock, they found him, his brother, his cousin, and his uncle, and his dad. He separated his dad from him, who pleaded with him to exchange his life for his son. And they said, no, we want you to watch. And then they machine gunned down the 4 men. And when Lori and I were there, we went and saw the small place where they've set up just a little white rock with Romulo's name there, saying this is where Romulo was killed. Still in the mountains of Peru, there's 8,000 communities and churches that have not yet heard. So even 10 years after the death of Romulo, we've done good work. The cassettes are being shared, so probably 5,000 or 6,000 villages are reached. We have some awesome men and women that are in the field. When I go to the land of the Quechuas, though, I remember Romulo. I don't know how to say it, but I think Romulo would like to say thank you.
In the name of these people, I would like to say thank you, because we are, how do you say, watching, we see a lot of miracles. You know, the Lord is doing a lot of miracles in the life of Quechua people.